taken, for example, when it was pointing out about this 1260, the devil is in the details here, is that, yes, we already had the absolute terminate your tour by the national award. There was no reason whatsoever that that even needed to be on the table. What we should have been arguing at very minimum is that because management's chronic failure to comply, that we want them to have a right to refusal. We didn't have to get the right to refusal in exchange for lifting the 12 60-hour limitations. But the devil in the detail comes down to this very simple fact here, is that even though, as you aptly pointed out, Corey, that we can compensate, supplement your income by allowing you to work these inordinate amount of hours, is that, and the response from Brian is that, well, you don't have to worry about getting disciplined anymore. Well, once they go ahead and agree to waive that 12 60 hours, there's a sentence that says that they are now agreeing to work any and all hours that the management has assigned them. So you have now opened this Pandora's box that, so what happens when this carrier does say, you said a right to refusal? Well, that only goes up until the 12, you can right to refuse up to the 1260. But once you waive that right, now you're back where you started from scratch one, because now you are required to work any hours that management gives you. And what happens when that carrier, what do you think is going to happen when that carrier says, no, I don't want to work 20 hours? Well, you waived that right when you said I'm going to work over 1260. And you will think that failure to comply or failure to follow instructions is not going to come into play? Of course it is. And then the other checks and balances that once you get excess of that 1260 hours that you have waived, they say that don't count towards equitability. So now you have this two-edged sword that don't count towards equitability. Either I'm going to ride you like a mule, or I'm going to favor my buddies and give them all the hours because I don't have to worry about equitability anymore. Those kind of things that come into where this is where experience come into play. Being able to have a global view of what's going on. And in my view, there was no global view here. And when you're talking about when I think what Melissa said here, that somebody that they don't, understand why they don't see it. Well, people either do or don't do things for one or two reasons, either because they don't know or they don't care. Well, when you make sure that somebody knows how you feel, and that was done in mega fashion with that 71% of the TA, and they still do it, what is it safe to assume? It's because they don't care. So there's nobody with that type of intelligence can say that they're unaware and that they don't know how the people feel and what's going on and what they should do. It's simply because they don't care.